Okay, so good evening, ladies. Thank you for joining me this evening. So first of all, just to start, I'd like you to get an oil, preferably a tree oil, so something grounding. So it could be frankincense, it could be balance, any tree oil. Siberian fir is really nice as well if you have that. Any tree oil that you have to hand. So I'll just wait a moment for you to get that. So I've got the Balance blend because that's got lots of different trees in it. So if you get a little drop of that, place it in your palm, and then also put some on your wrist as well. If you rub your hands together and your wrists together as well, and then if you just cup your hands over your nose and mouth, close your eyes, and breathe in the aroma for a good 4 to 5 breaths. And just really notice how that oil changes your state. And then once you've breathed that in, just rub your hands over the sides of your neck as well. So the reason I asked you to put the oil on your wrists and now your sides of your neck is because that's where your pulse points are. So when we put a grounding oil, so all tree oils are very grounding. When we put those oils on our pulse points, it slows the heart rate, it calms the nervous system. So it will not only affect you from inhaling the aroma, which will then go into the limbic part of the brain, but also actually affect you physically in your body as well. So once you've done that, just make sure you're completely comfortable. You can stay seated with your palms facing up in your lap. If you want to have a lie down, you are more than welcome to. So just make sure you're completely comfortable. I'm going to start off with a little reading about grief. So, this whole gathering this evening is basically just to acknowledge the whole situation that we're going through at the moment, which is a bit of a roller coaster for us all. For me, certainly, I've gone from being at work to now being at home full time with my little one who's 3, trying to juggle work and her and doing lots of things that I wasn't doing before, and obviously not doing lots of things that I was doing before. So, all our lives have changed quite a lot. The reason I've kind of labelled this as grief, because really it is, we're grieving our old lives. We're grieving that we can't see our friends, we can't have human contact and connection. I mean, yes, we have this online world, which is amazing, and I'm so grateful for. Because if we didn't have this, then I think we'd be in serious trouble. But, just there's so many things that we aren't able to have and experience at the moment that it can be very, very emotional for us. And so this is what I wanted to go through this evening, is just to actually acknowledge it, because I think in our society now, any kind of grief, we're kind of taught to try and brush it under the carpet and, man up, come on, deal with it, aren't you over that yet? Whereas, that's probably the worst thing that we can do, because when we don't acknowledge our feelings, they then get suppressed in our body and then come out as something else, So it can come out as something really minor, it can come out as something really serious in the long run if we don't deal with them. So, yes, so this is my way of supporting you and myself, to be honest, because it's been quite a journey for me just to actually just kind of look up and learn a little bit more about the process of grief, and then also to learn about the different oils that can support you through the process of grief. And so I just wanted to share with you what I've learned over the last few days in supporting myself, and then obviously how I can support you as well. So I'm going to read the reading, which is all about honouring grief. So just close your eyes, take a few nice deep breaths. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. So take a full breath in, fill the lungs up as much as you can. Exhale through your mouth, nice big ha sound. Feel like you're releasing tension from your body with that breath. Take another full breath in. Exhale completely. One more nice deep breath in. Exhale completely. And just relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, and soften your tongue in your mouth. Thank you for this blessed day, this blessing of life on us, heavy with awareness of what has been surrendered. Inspire us to grieve enough. Remind us not to strive for completing the process for the sake of being done. Help us with our tendency to avoid. Establish in us a belief that we get to wear the face of our pain, not a brave mask that puts others at ease. Help us to speak and honour our pain, understanding that we do not suffer our losses alone. Ease our minds when those who cannot relate to our suffering don't know what to say or do for us. Hold our rage and abandonment while we come to discover what is at the bottom of our deep sorrow. Emphasize to us that someone somewhere understands us despite our contrary thoughts. It is a comfort of our hearts to be able to access the spirit of what is no longer. Unlock the passageways so that we may commune with those who we remember. Allow the souls who have been reclaimed to visit our dreams and visions. Help us to preserve the love we came to count on. Teach us to honour our relatives who have taken another form with purpose of reverence. Instruct us in the art of divine communication. Remind us that everything which dies will be reborn in some way. Even if we do not possess the words to describe this process, help us trust in your mastery while we feel our feelings. Groom us to take the long road if we need to. Help us know that our tears are cleansing and our grief is sacred. That we can take all of the time we need to release and cleanse our wound of loss. Point out each time we forget that we are equipped with the perfect tools for this process. Give us the energy and the strength to weep. We're grateful for this visceral experience of flow when your healing rain washes over us, allowing our emotional bodies to be washed in your waters. Carry our honest pain downstream to join the infinite tributaries of sorrow and mourning in the salty womb of the ocean. Let us mingle our tears with others in a gesture of sharing. Show us how to honour our collective human experience. Remind us that we do not have to fill the empty places with anything at all at this time. Guide us gently through the anxiety of vacancy where love was once held. So just take a full breath in and a full breath out. And then just keeping your eyes closed, I want you to just take a moment to acknowledge how you are feeling at this time, in this moment. So how have you been feeling today, this evening? So just notice how you have been emotionally. I'm not trying to change that, but just acknowledging it and accepting it. And the reason I'm asking you just to actually ask that question to yourself is because we're going to go through the stages of grief in a minute. And I want you to be able to basically notice where you are in this stage of grief, because we are all grieving in some way, shape or form. So you can open your eyes now. And I'm just going to go through the 5 different stages of grief. And with each stage, what I'm going to do is then just give you, there are quite a few oils that you can use for each different stage. I've just picked a couple because I didn't want to overwhelm you with information on loads and loads of oils. I just thought that if I pick a few that some of you might have already, some of you might not, but I've picked the ones that I think some of you may have, just so that you've got a few tools at home already. And then if you want to get any new ones, you can. I know I have ordered a few extra ones that I haven't got, depending on where you are in this grieving process. So other than oils, obviously there are other things that we can do to support ourselves in these times. And you all know that I am a massive advocate of self-care. I mean, that's what our whole group is all about. You know, yes, I'm here to teach you about oils and the doTERRA lifestyle, but in effect, that all boils down to self-care, you know, looking after yourself in different ways. And so at the moment, you know, I did the Wellness Week when we first went into this lockdown, because I felt like we needed that more than ever. So things like meditation, journaling, you know, journaling is so good for times like these, to really just get your feelings out on paper. You don't even have to read it back to yourself, but just to actually just really write out how you're feeling, to get it out of your head, get it out of your body is so, so important. So that for me is a real biggie. Journaling at the moment is a real big thing that I would recommend, definitely. You know, there's so many different books and things with journaling prompts. You know, if you go into our group, in the unit section of our group, if you go back to the Wellness Week, you can use those journaling prompts there if you want to. You know, just choose a couple and use those over a few weeks. So meditation, journaling, being in nature, breathing exercises, yoga practice, anything that feeds your soul. So for some of you, you might like cooking, you may like reading, you might like knitting, anything that nourishes you, that helps you connect back to yourself. I would say that is like, it needs to be right up there at the moment for me, especially as we have more time. I know a lot of us have got children at home at the moment, but you know, I'm setting my alarm half an hour before everybody else gets up so that I can meditate, so that I can have time to myself before the day. And then, you know, when Tallulah playing and things, I have one earphone in my ear listening to an audio book if I can. You know, just trying to get little pockets through your day of little moments of self-care. It doesn't have to be for long, you know, even just getting one of your oils, breathing in the aroma, taking a couple of drops of it, you know, that can just be so supportive and healing for you. So I would definitely say all of those things other than your oils at the moment should be a priority, definitely. And being kind to yourself as well, not putting pressure on yourself to get everything done as well, you know. You know, I think that's another big thing of, you know, trying to get all the washing done, make sure the house is tidy, all that kind of thing. Forget it. Go outside, enjoy the sunshine. So I want to go through the 5 different stages of grief. So the first stage of when we're coming up against something that basically forms us to grieve is denial. So that's when we just don't want to believe it's happening or it's happened. So I've definitely been there. Some of you may still be in that stage, you know. So there's 3 different oils, and all of them are tree oils. Okay, so there's the Balance Blend, which I think a lot of you do have, and then you've got Siberian Fir and Black Spruce. So I'm not looking at my phone, I'm looking at an app on my phone, because we've got the Emotions and Essential Oils book, but there's also an app to it. So the app is easier to just look at because it's more of a quick reference. So I'm just going to read to you the emotions that each oil supports, read to you a little bit how it supports you, and then where you would apply it. Okay, so this is why I've tried to stick to just 3 oils for each section of grief or process or stage of grief. So we'll start off with the Balance Blend. So this has got spruce in it, it's got hoe wood, it's got frankincense, and then it's also got some flowers in it. So it's got chamomile, blue tansy. So this is a very grounding and calming oil. The emotions that it supports are when we're feeling scattered, unstable, ungrounded. And then what it helps to do is make us feel more grounded, feel more stable, and gives us perseverance. So something that we all probably need a lot of at the moment. So balance is primarily a combination of tree oils and roots. It has a very soft energy, which is excellent for calming an overactive mind. It's a wonderful remedy for those who need to reconnect to their roots. So if you think, with all these tree oils, if you imagine a tree, when the wind blows, it stays stable, it gets blown around, but its roots are grounding down into the ground. And this is what we need to do at the moment, most definitely. It provides us with inner strength and fortitude, and it teaches us to ground our energy and manifest our vision with the patience of a tree. So that is what the Balance Blend can do for us. You'd apply this to the bottoms of your feet. So I actually apply this oil to the bottoms of my feet most mornings so that I start the day off grounded. You can diffuse it, and then you can also put it in your hands and breathe in the aroma of it, and it just is instant calm grounding. Okay. Then we've got black spruce. So black spruce and Siberian fir, these 2 oils actually, they actually are a theme of a few of the different stages of grief. So these 2 oils would probably be something, well, I've got Siberian fir, but I've ordered black spruce as well, because it can support you through the different stages of grief, because it's a little bit more of a deeper meaning when it comes to grief. So balance is great for grounding and calming, but black spruce and Siberian fir go a little bit deeper into the emotions. So black spruce, again, is for when we're feeling unstable, depleted, fearful and exhausted. So you may be feeling quite, hi Karen, so you may be feeling quite exhausted at the moment because we are being bombarded by so much information. We don't know what is true. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know when this is going to end, do we? So it's very open-ended. So you can feel very exhausted because you just don't know what's going to happen, basically, or when it's going to end. It also helps with generational healing as well. So this is where Siberian fir and the black spruce are a little bit more deeper when it comes to grief. So black spruce is both grounding and stabilizing. It models how to persevere through the storms of life by drawing strength from our roots. It can also assist us who feel depleted of energy to regenerate and renew ourselves. So this is, I think, something that probably most of us need at the moment. It helps those of us who struggle with extreme moods to find balance and moderation. And it's an ally in dealing with fear, especially subconscious generational fears. So you might be finding that you've got emotions coming up from your past, you're being triggered. And I also wanted to add that today is a new moon, just to add to our emotions. And that may also be bringing up triggers and emotions that we're having to face as well. So, you know, we have that as an added thing to us. So with the black spruce, you would breathe that in as an aroma. So you could diffuse it or put it in your palms. Apply it to your lower back, to the bottoms of your feet and across your forehead. So what I might do is actually take some screenshots of these and actually put them up in the group as well in a little post so that you've got them as well, so you don't have to write it all down. Then you have Siberian fir. So Karen, we're just going through the different stages of grief. So this is the first stage of grief, and we're at the stage of denial. So these are the oils that basically support the emotion of denial. So Siberian fir, where are we? Okay, so this to me would be your main oil for grief, because this runs through quite a few of the different stages of grief. So this is the emotion, the oil that supports grief, holding on to the past, which most of us probably are trying to, despairing, sad, and regretful. And so what this oil can help us to feel is comforted, give us wisdom, make us feel present, and also optimistic. So this is why I think this is probably the most important oil out of these three. So Siberian fir addresses generational healing from the perspective of the mature. It assists during the twilight years as individual transition into a more full, mature awareness. It offers comfort and support during periods of grief, regret, and longing. So probably something we're, well, definitely feeling. And it also aids in necessary healing and reconciliation process of life full of mixed experiences. So this, to me, this is like hits the nail on the head when it comes to the emotions that are being supported. It also encourages an honest and gentle approach to assessing our influences and the choices that we're having to make at the moment. So this you would breathe in. It's quite a strong smell. It actually smells, to me, it reminds me of when we went snowboarding in Whistler and we were in the forest. It smells of like a damp forest. That's what it smells of. It's lovely. I love it. But that's what the smell it brings, basically, is like damp forest. It's lovely. So you can apply this over your heart, on your wrists and the bottom of your feet. And you can also take a couple of drops of this oil under your tongue as well for extra grounding. So those are the three oils that you would use to support yourself through the denial stage. Okay. So at the start, Karen, I asked everybody just to kind of acknowledge how they were feeling at the moment. So, you know, are you feeling denial? You may be feeling angry. You may be feeling sad. You may be accepting the situation, you know. There's different emotions, and obviously this can change day by day. You know, grief is a kind of goes in waves, doesn't it? We can kind of go forward and then back. So it's just to acknowledge that, really. So then the next stage of grief is anger. So when we first of all deny what's going on, obviously we don't let our feelings come out. So then that eventually builds up inside us, and then it all comes out in anger. So it kind of bursts out of us, if you like. So the main oils for supporting anger, again, are balance, Siberian fir, and black spruce. But then you have the added oils, which are a little bit softer, and that's ylang ylang and geranium. Okay, so I'm just going to read to you what these oils meanings are and what they induce within us. So geranium is the oil of love and trust. So geranium actually is something that I've been partnering with and using since I first found out that I was pregnant, because I've just had this underlying anxiety the whole time. So I've been using geranium every day over my heart, just to love and trust that everything's going to be okay. And I've continued to use that through all of this going through at the moment. So geranium can support us when we're feeling distrusting, unforgiving, disheartened, heavy-hearted, and when we're grieving. And what it helps us to do is heal, it helps us to forgive, and it induces love and trust. So, you know, you've got your tree oils, which will be grounding and healing, but then I think the floral oils are quite nice because they're a bit softer, a bit more feminine. So geranium restores confidence in the innate goodness of others and the world. So this is definitely something we all need at the moment, if you read any of what's going on. It facilitates trust, and especially when we feel we've lost trust in others due to difficult life circumstances. It also assists us in re-establishing a strong bond with our mother and father, and when there's been a loss of trust in relationships. It encourages emotional honesty, love, and forgiveness. It's a gentle oil, perfect also for children. So if you have children that are struggling at the moment emotionally, and let's face it, their whole routine has been completely changed. So, you know, if you have very grounded, calm children at the moment, please tell me what you're doing. Because I would like to know. So with geranium, you put this over your heart, you breathe it in, diffuse it. You can actually also have this in water as well. You can take it internally in a capsule. So for me personally, I've been applying it over my heart and I diffuse it with wild orange, which is quite nice. And then Lang Lang is basically it's the oil of, I'm just going to look it up in the book actually, because it's doesn't tell me on the app, and it's got a really lovely meaning to it, the actual meaning of the oil. Yes, so Lang Lang is the oil of the inner child. Okay, so it connects us back to our inner child. So this is for when we're feeling stressed, sad, joyless, and what it helps us to feel is more connected emotionally. It heals us, it makes us feel more tender-hearted and a little bit more joyful. So Lang Lang is a powerful remedy for our heart. It reconnects us with our inner child and the pure and simple ways of the heart. It encourages play and restores a childlike nature and innocence. Lang Lang is also a powerful remedy for releasing emotional trauma from the past. So, you know, we're all going through that at the moment. It's a fantastic support in age regression work and also other methods of emotional healing. So this, again, you'd apply it over your heart. You can also put it all around your ears as well. You can take a couple of drops internally, either on your tongue or in water, and then you can diffuse it as well. So Lang Lang and geranium are actually really nice together, diffused. It's a really nice combination. So that's what you would use for yourself if you're feeling angry. So a tree oil of some sort, and then something to soften you. You know, a floral oil like geranium or Lang Lang to soften your heart. Then you go through the next stage of grief, which is the bargaining stage, or adjusting stage. So this is when you're kind of at the stage thinking, well, it's going to be all right, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. You get to that kind of stage. And so the oils for this would be geranium again, which is love and trust. And then the other oil for this is rosemary. And this is actually an oil that I've been diffusing pretty much all year, actually. I really like it with peppermint oil. Rosemary is really nice for that. But rosemary is the oil of knowledge and transition. So at the moment, you know, we're all transitioning into this new way of life, aren't we, really? And our life probably isn't going to go back to what it was before. So rosemary is really good for times of transition. So the emotions that it can support are when we're feeling fatigued mentally, when we're adjusting to a new way of life, when we're confused, And what it helps us to be is more teachable, more enlightened, more clear, and to have more clarity. So rosemary assists us in the development of true knowledge and true intellect. It also teaches us that we can be instructed from a far greater space of understanding than our mind. So to me, rosemary almost reminds us that we are supported by the universe. That's the message I get from it anyway. So I've been using rosemary quite a bit just for my own personal growth, really. I've been doing a lot of work with Gabby Bernstein. So a few of her books are things like The Universe Has Your Back, Spirit Junkie. She just brought another new book out called Super Attractor. And she talks about being supported by the universe. And I, every morning, have mantras and prayer that I say to myself that I've learned from her teachings. And it is all about trusting that we are being supported by something bigger than ourselves. And that can give us great comfort in times like we're in at the moment. So rosemary is a really good partner to anchor in those feelings and those messages that you're sending yourself. Where was I? It challenges individuals to look deeper than they normally would and ask more soul-searching questions so they receive more inspired answers. It also aids in times of transition and change, which I've already said, or when we're adjusting to a difficult time. So definitely something that we all need at the moment. And then you've got geranium, which is love and trust. Okay, so we've gone through denial, anger, the bargaining stage, and then we come to sadness. Okay, so in times of sadness, again, you can call on your Siberian fir and your black spruce. Lang Lang and geranium as well are also really good for that. And then the other oil that I would suggest for sadness is peppermint oil. For me, peppermint is just, it's so uplifting. It's the oil of a buoyant heart. For me, I use peppermint a lot. I love the smell of it. And I just find it really, really helps to soothe and ease me. So peppermint oil helps to support us when we're feeling despair, heavy-hearted, pessimistic, sad. And what it helps to induce within us is buoyancy, optimism, and relief. So I've tried to add in a few oils that you may have already. So peppermint is a good one if you're feeling a little bit sad. So this you would inhale either by diffusing it, putting it in your palms, rubbing it over your chest as well. So also at the moment, you know, when you're opening up your airwaves, it will help you to breathe in support and then also release anything that we don't need. You know, when we hold on to our emotions, when we don't move our bodies as much, we get congestion, and that congestion will then sit within our lungs. So peppermint is really good for opening up the airwaves to help with that as well. Okay. Then the last stage of grief is acceptance. So have a little think about where you are on those 5 different stages of grief. I think for me, I'm probably at the bargaining stage at the moment. I think I was definitely anger yesterday. But I think I've moved through that now, and I'm at the stage where I think we're going to be all right. I think we're going to be all right. That's where I'm at the moment. I'm really trying to practice as much self-care and using my oils as much as possible to move on through this. So acceptance. The main oils for acceptance are Lang Lang. So again, connecting back to that inner child. And then the other oil for acceptance is bergamot. So bergamot is actually the oil of self-acceptance. So I'll just read to you a little bit about it. So bergamot is when we're feeling despair, we're feeling hopeless, and what it induces in us is acceptance, optimism, confidence, and hopefulness, and acceptance. So bergamot relieves feelings of despair, judgment, and also low self-esteem. It invites us to see life with more optimism, even if they fear revealing their true thoughts and feelings. So bergamot's powerful cleansing properties generate movement in the energy system, which in turn brings hope in this way. It's wonderful for those who feel down and hopeless, and it awakens the soul to hope and offers courage to share our inner self. So that you can diffuse. You can use 1 to 3 drops and put it over your heart, but also your upper tummy, so your chakra, your solar plexus chakra. Also on your forehead. If you're using bergamot and you're putting it on your skin, just beware, because in the UK, it's very hot outside. Citrus oils are photosensitive. So don't put citrus oils on your skin and then go out in the sun, because it will make your skin burn. So just be aware of that if you're putting bergamot on your forehead. And then you can also take bergamot oil, a couple of drops under your tongue or in water. Obviously in warm water is quite nice, Earl Grey tea. So those are basically the oils to support you through the stages of grief. So I hope you found that helpful and insightful. And as I said, what I'll do is I will give all of that information on individual oil into the group. So I'll upload it tomorrow. So you've got each emotional meaning for each oil there. So you can reference it if you want to, because it's quite nice just to have that to have as a reference. So what I'm going to do now is guide you through a guided meditation. So we've talked a lot about tree oils this evening, trees being very grounded and sturdy. So I thought, what else is very grounded and sturdy? Mountains. So I'm actually going to talk you through a guided meditation, and it's a mountain meditation. So if you get completely comfortable, you can lie down if you want to. You can sit with your palms facing up in your lap or by your side. If you close your eyes, tuck your chin just to bring a little bit of length into the back of your neck. And just settling into the position that you're in, making sure that you're completely comfortable. Bringing your attention to the sensations of your breath as it naturally flows in and out of your body. And just observe your body as it breathes. Sitting or lying here with a sense of completeness. And then when you're ready, bring to mind the image of a mountain. Visualize the most beautiful mountain. Or just have a sense or a feeling of a mountain in your mind's eye. Allowing the mountain to come clearly into view now. Getting a feeling for the shape of the mountain. Its lofty peak or peaks reaching up high in the sky, and its large base rooted down into the earth. The sides of the mountain, perhaps they are steep, or maybe sloping gently. Notice how the mountain is for you. How moving this amazing mountain is, yet how grounded it is. Appreciate how beautiful it is from close up or afar, and sense its unique shape. Your mountain may have snow at the top, or trees on the lower slopes. Perhaps it has one prominent peak, or maybe a series of peaks. However it appears to you, just sitting and breathing with this image of this spectacular mountain, observing its qualities. And then when you're ready, if you can, I want you to playfully bring the mountain into your own body. So let the image of the mountain merge with the image of yourself as you're sitting or laying here, as you and the mountain become one. And as you sit or lay here and become the mountain, your head the lofty peak or peaks, your shoulders and arms the sides of the mountains, and your buttocks, legs and feet are the solid base rooted into the ground. Experiencing in your body a sense of uplift from the base all the way up to the peaks. With each breath, you become this living, breathing mountain. Unwavering in your stillness, completely what you are beyond words and thoughts. A centered, unmoving, rooted presence. And just as the sun travels each day across the sky, the light, the shadows, the colours constantly changing moment to moment, as the environment changes and the colours change, the mountain just sits in stillness. As the day and night flow into each other, as the sun and moon pass across the sky, the mountain remains unmoved. As the seasons flow into each other, the spring turns into summer, summer turns into autumn, and autumn turns into winter. As the weather changes moment by moment, day by day, this calm abiding in the mountain stays the same. In the summer, there may be no snow on the mountain at all, maybe just on the peaks. The mountainside baked in the summer heat. In the autumn, the mountains may be coloured in a brilliant show of reds and oranges, its rivers swollen with autumnal rain. And in the winter, maybe a blanket of snow covers the whole mountain. But whether the mountain is covered in snow, or baked in glorious sunshine, or frozen with ice, the mountain just sits solid and unwavering. At times, violent storms may blow up, snow or hail, or heavy rain may batter the mountain. Thunder and lightning, harsh winds, but all through this the mountain just sits, seen or unseen, day or night, sun or storm. Whatever happens on the surface of the mountain, so that the solidity of the mountain itself is unmoved. All these things come and go, but the mountain remains with all that is. The peaks may be lost in fog at times, but the mountain itself remains solid. And people may come far and near to see the mountain. Some admire the magic scenery, some see it as an obstacle, but it's all the same to the mountain. It has no opinion of the people visiting it. As we sit holding this image of the amazing mountain in our mind, let us embody this unwavering stillness and rootedness in the face of everything that is changing. Over the hours and days, even the moment and moment of this meditation, we may be battered by the storms of our memories and our minds. Let us sit still in the middle of it all, experiencing the constant changes of our mind and the world. The constant changing of the world around us. Sometimes we experience light, sometimes dark. Sometimes we experience the storms of our own life, sometimes violent storms. But no matter how dark or stormy it gets, we can sit in the middle of it, strong and unwavering like a mountain, just watching the weather blow by, connecting with the strength of this mountain, allowing its qualities to sink into us deeply, supporting our efforts to encounter each moment with compassionate awareness and clear, radiant mindfulness. We can see our thoughts, feelings, conceptions, and emotions are just storms that blow over. All of these things, like so much weather, we don't need to take it personally. It's just blowing on by. And as we come to know a deeper silence, we enter a wisdom of stillness, such that we thought may never be possible. But it's right here in the center of the mountain, in the center of us. And as this meditation comes to a close, allow this image to sink deeply into yourself. Embody the strength, the rootedness, the peace, and the majesty of a mountain. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Bring your hands just in front of you and just gently rub your hands together. Keep your eyes closed. Cup your hands over your eyes. And then with your hands cupped over your eyes, just gently open your eyes. And then slowly just start to part your hands, or your fingers, should I say, just so that you're letting the light in very gradually, letting your eyes get used to the light, and then coming back into the room. And just acknowledging how you feel in this moment right now. So thank you for sharing this evening with me, lovely ladies. And those of you that are listening in the future, I'm just going to stop the recording now.